I know some of you guys are still curious why I do this, and I'm gonna answer your question in a moment. So I'm just gonna do these guys real quick because I'm working on my valve cover. Okay, and then one right here, just for kicks. All right, so I got this marker and I think it's called U-Mark. Let me see what the brand is. Yeah, U-Mark right there. You could buy this on Amazon or whatever, but the biggest reason why I use red marker, blue marker, pink marker, I don't care what color you guys use, some people use white, is when you're working on your cars, sometimes you forget to tighten some bolts, right? Especially if it's something very important like your transmission bolts, your motor mount bolts or whatever. So if you look around my car here, I got a bunch of red marks everywhere that I've touched. Now obviously some of the OEM bolts that I haven't loosened, they don't have any markings, but anything that I've loosened before, like this right here, got a mark there, got a mark there, mark here, mark there. It's very rare to not find anything that's already been marked on this car. Some things I haven't touched at all, like say some of the internal bolts inside the engine, but like look, the ABS right there, I haven't marked that because that's been tightened since the factory. I've never taken it apart. But usually when you're taking apart cars, sometimes you forget to tighten certain things, and then you're driving, you're like, dang, did I tighten that bolt? Like the throttle cable, did I tighten that nut? But if you have it freaking marked up, then you don't have to really worry about it because you just pop your hood, you look at it and like, oh yeah, I got a red dot right there. And there are different versions of this, right? So like the dot right here, these are not very critical. So I just put a dot on there so I can remember that, oh, okay, yeah, so I already tightened that, whatever. Same with these. But when it's critical and you want to see it clocking like suspension components, so I just marked this right here for your reference. So sometimes when you're at the canyons or at the track and your car's really vibrating, especially if you're using fancy motor mounts. So these are the Hotsport mounts that I got from JHB. They it tends to rattle your car. So when it rattles loose, you'll see it just back out like this. And next time you're in the friggin' engine bay and you're looking at bolts, make sure that everything's good, and you see that, you're like, oh dude, that's loose, I'm gonna have to tighten this back up. And then boom, So critical parts, I usually mark a static surface, and then the bolt or the nut or oil cap or whatever, right? So my lug nuts, usually I mark them too. So I got the lug nut right there, and then the stud, so I know when it rotates. But those are the two versions, right? So if it's not critical, just put a red dot or whatever color dot you want, so you know that these things are good. So like the header bolt right here, see that? I got a static right here, all right? And then one that rotates on the nuts, and I don't see anything rotating, and you're good. So yeah, for instance, like this oil cap, just put it back to tight, and you're Gucci. It's super useful when you're a very forgetful person like me, and even the OEMs do it. So if you look around in your car, you'll probably find some dots or yellow marking or anything like that around the transmission, motor mounts, and the engine. So give it a try.